We are so excited for you to listen to our brand new podcast. It's called IMO.
Every week, we'll be joined by some of our friends, special guests, and experts who will keep us honest while also adding their own opinions to the mix.
The very reason we voted for Trump is the very reason that this podcast is going to fail. Americans are tired of political correctness, censorship, and having to walk on eggshells when they give their goddamn opinion.
They've uploaded so far 4 clips, okay? They've uploaded so far 4 clips. Can you go to the channel right there? So zoom in a little bit. 4 videos have been uploaded. They've done 1 episode, and they have 17,700 subscribers. Oh. Let me kind of give you some perspective.
And I think this came out yesterday, 4 hours ago. So now she has 23.
What that means, Rob. Rob, can you?
And she's had the channel since February 11th. But when did she post her? Okay, she posted her first video 2 days ago.
And I am Craig.
And Craig here is
this nigga sus, bro.
My big brother. He's done a lot of everything in life: business, coaching, basketball, television. He's always been one of the very few people I can turn to whenever I need just about anything.
And you all know my sister Michelle, or Mish as our family has always called her.
We are so excited for you to listen to our brand new podcast. It's called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson together.
Bro, so lame.
Together, Craig and I are going to take your questions about the challenges you're grappling with in life. Because let's be real, we are living through some really complicated and confusing times, and people are feeling more alone than ever. But what I've learned is that if you're feeling a certain kind of way, the reality is that others are probably feeling that way too. And when you take the time to be just a little vulnerable and open up about it, it's a whole lot easier to find the answers you're looking for.
Every week, we'll be joined by some of our friends, special guests, and experts who will keep us honest while also adding their own opinions to the mix.
Whether you're navigating the gray areas of marriage and raising kids, or dealing with a little friend drama, or even figuring out how to put yourself out there in the dating world. And I want young women to just practice asking for what you want. It's okay to hear no. It's okay to hear I don't love you like that.
There's nothing to be bored of. I mean, if you're a mother and you're watching your children, every moment that you look at them, it's like unbelievable what's happening.
And look, we're not saying we have all the answers either. Far from it.
But we do have plenty of opinions, don't we?
You sharing your weakness makes you strong. Like you being able to tell them, I went through this, I found help, and I've come out the other side.
Like, it's one thing to say I want to achieve this for me, and then there's another thing to say I want to achieve something because I'm expecting all of this to come with it.
One of the most difficult things to do is realizing that relationships have their limits. There are relationships that simply are not going to function.
I'm a boss. Are you okay being the
Can you level up? Can you level up? And then he's running away going, it's like
he's aggressive.
So get in touch, send us your questions, and join us every week
on IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. Subscribe or follow on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So what's the next letter?
Thank you so much. Yeah, come on.
Let's go.
Bro. Nigga. In 2003, we went to war in Iraq. It was a response to the 9/11 attacks. After a few years, the war became unpopular. People wanted Bush gone. They hated Dick Cheney. They didn't like John McCain. And a former senator named Barack Obama ran for president in 2007-ish. And he won in 2008. He campaigned on change. He campaigned on being the first black president. Campaigned on being a voice for the people. We had an articulate, young, charismatic, charming guy that made Americans feel as though we can go ahead and create real change. We would get out of the neocon White House that the Bush administration had placed us under for several years. It was a welcome change, and he won in a landslide. I vividly remember everyone got behind Obama. Nas came out with a song, My President is Black, My Lambo's Blue, right? Jeezy's song, I Put On, where they talked about the recession. It was a dark time, guys, in recent history. The market had crashed. The real estate market was cooked. People were looking for some hope. And Obama gave him that hope. His first lady was by his side, first black lady. And everyone was like, yo, this is awesome. They listen to Jay-Z. They're like us. They're super cool. But what quickly happened was people found out that the Obamas weren't everything that they thought they were. Very pompous. My shit don't stink. And quite frankly, Obama didn't deliver on a lot of things that he promised. He deported a lot of people, contrary to what he said. He killed a lot of people with drones. That's why they call him Odrona. Right? And he didn't do many things when it came to improving foreign relations. Obamacare was a failure, and among other things. After leaving the White House, the Obamas maintained that same 2008-ish, early 2010-ish, we're cool hip politicians vibe. And they ushered in an era of political correctness. When Obama took office in 2008, if you guys notice the pop culture, things started to become more and more and more woke. With a black president in the White House, it allowed a lot of these, BLM or these feminists to kind of come out and voice their opinions on certain social injustices. Almost to the point that we overcorrected from the less politically correct Bush administration. Because Obama wasn't just a politician. He was a cultural figure. And the Obama family represented that. So if there's one thing that the Obama administration did that is still being felt to this day, it's the explosion of politically correct woke culture. It used to be cool to be a liberal, right? Being woke used to be a compliment. Millennials, people in my age group, often were pretty liberal and progressive. Yeah, let's let gays marry. Yeah, more birth control. Yeah, let's let women do whatever they want, enter the workforce, get an education. That's my era, which I'm not proud of, by the way. Millennials are stupid. And some of them have still stuck with that mindset. You look at someone like a Hassan Abi, we're right around the same age. He never changed. He's still stuck in that fucking Obama era. That Obama era of everyone is special, talking about realities, biological realities between men and women is unacceptable. It's bigoted. It's racist. Right? Guys like Ethan Klein, guys like Hassan Piker, etc. These are remnants of the Obama administration and the culture that they left behind. Then a guy named Donald Trump came in. And Donald Trump smashed the narrative. He became hard on immigration. He started calling things like they are. The once eloquent president that we had, named Barack Obama, was replaced by a guy that honestly couldn't string together a fucking sentence. A savvy businessman that didn't give a fuck and said what was on his mind. Crass, rude, but honest. But the American people liked it. You know why? Because the American people were tired of being lied to by the Obama administration. Promises and eloquently spoken language, articulated masterfully, but no real results. And on top of that, people were tired of the woke culture that the Obama administration brought in. Because like I said before, he wasn't just a president. He was a cultural icon. He made a lot of young people liberal. And what was going on during the Obama administration? What apps were blowing up? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter was starting to hit the mainstream and become far more popular. YouTube, etc. So Trump came in and was a refreshing contrast to this woke culture. But the woke culture never left. You want to know why? Because after Trump lost the 2020 election, a guy named Joe Biden came into office. Well, for those of you that are old enough or people that are a little bit more politically savvy, this is a name that you didn't forget. Because Joe Biden was President Obama's vice president. A lot of people don't know that because he spent all his fucking time in Ukraine when he was vice president. Then people wonder why we give them so much aid, but I digress. The point is this. The very same administration that brought in this woke culture was back in power. Because make no mistake about it, guys. Joe Biden's presidency was nothing more than an extension and a third term for the Obama administration. And we saw the reemergence of censorship, political correctness, and it became even loonier. Now, we're letting people have whatever gender they want. Now, we're being super woke and tone policing. Now, we're letting BLM fucking riders go absolutely crazy because we're scared to designate them as a domestic terrorist organization for fear of racism. Now we let Antifa run the streets and scream defund the police as they burn cities down. Make no mistake about it, guys. The Biden administration was nothing more than another 4 years of the politically correct bullshit culture that the Obama administration brought in. I was even duped by it. I voted for Obama in 2008. Like everyone else, I had the hope and the change. I got the flyers. I thought it was awesome. I watched the speeches. I was so fucking captivated by this guy. But fast forward, what did he really do? He ushered in this woke culture that we're dealing with now. When you open up Netflix and you see all these interracial couples, and you see this mass acceptance of homosexuality, it was the Obama administration that made it cool and okay to put this stuff in the mainstream media. When you look at gay men adopting children, like Dave Rubin, it was the Obama administration that made that shit acceptable because they were the ones that oversaw the whole gay marriage proposals. They're the ones that legitimized it. And that is what led to the 99 gender problem that we have now under the Biden administration. Oh, sorry, the third Obama administration. The Obama family and administration led a cultural shift to the political correctness that we now detest and the mass censorship that we detest. Maybe under the auspice of the Biden administration, but we know who was really the brains behind things. So watching this promo for Michelle Obama, who is just as pompous as her fucking husband, Barack Obama, where she's coming in here saying that we're going to run this podcast and you can get your questions and be safe with us and all this other bullshit. It brings back flashbacks to all the politically correct, tone policing, anti-bigoted liberalism bullshit that we've hated for so fucking long. The very reason we voted for Trump is the very reason that this fucking podcast is going to fail. Americans are fucking tired of political correctness, censorship, and having to walk on fucking eggshells when they give their goddamn fucking opinions. We're tired of it. We really are. We're tired of black people always saying that I'm a victim, white supremacy. We're tired of them boys screaming anti-Semitism every time you say that the Jews run Hollywood. We're tired of Hispanics crying for fucking open borders and that we should let them in because their country is evil. We're tired of parading in the streets in fucking thongs in front of our children, saying that we need to have gay pride. We're tired of mentally ill individuals that say that there's 97 genders and asking for certain pronouns to be used in language. The Obama podcast that we just saw the preview of is a reemergence of the very culture that we've fought to fucking eradicate for the past 4 years. And watching this promo reminded me precisely why the fucking Democrats lost. They're more concerned with looking good in front of the camera versus being honest, candid, and authentic to the American fucking people. Watching that promo brought me fucking flashbacks to 2008 when Obama was campaigning. Hope, change. It was all a fucking lie. Because you can't actually change unless you're authentic. And this is something that the Democrats fail to fucking do. And liberals in general. Because just like we saw with Stephen A. Smith, they're more concerned with the details, small minor details, versus the overall problem. Tucker Carlson correctly said that DEI leads to the degradation of a meritocracy. What does Stephen A. Smith do? Immediately attributes it to race. Why? Because he's an Obama-tard. These FBAs, whether they want to admit it or not, they're also Obama-tards. Because they have a constant fucking victim complex that white supremacy is keeping them from success. But we know, on this side of the internet, it's not white supremacy. We know what supremacy it really is. But even them, they can't hold you back from success either. I tell you guys about this shit, not so that you guys can sit there and be like, oh man, it sucks, it's over, bro. Them boys read everything. No, I tell you this so you understand the power structure so that you can move appropriately. Knowing is half the game. But you need to know who rules over you. And they've been lying to you about it for a very long time. The reason why this podcast is going to fail is because Democrats and liberals are simply not authentic and real. They're more concerned with the way they say things versus what they say. They're more concerned with offending people versus saying what needs to be said. They're more interested in speaking in a pompous manner that you might not necessarily understand the language that's used versus using layman terms that the average American can understand. They're overeducated, privileged, pretentious dickheads that think that they're better than you. This is why people that are educated on a college degree or higher almost always vote Democrat because they think they know better, but they fucking don't. In closing, the reason why this podcast is going to fail alongside Gavin Newsom's podcast is simply this. No one cares or trusts A-list celebrities anymore. Despite the fact that Michelle Obama has an enormous audience, millions and millions of followers across all of her social media platforms, A-list celebrities and wokies don't have the same pull that they once had. And we learned this in the 2024 election. Kamala Harris went and got the endorsement of not just the Obamas, but of all the A-list celebrities that, by the way, Obama's going to have on her podcast, by the way. Your favorite actors, musicians, artists, etc. But people are tired of these people because these people come from an establishment. The establishment of Hollywood, the establishment of the music industry, the establishment of certain entertainment forums, mainstream media, etc., that the people have grown to distrust. Now, people would rather listen to Joe Rogan than a Gavin Newsom. People would rather listen to a Joe Rogan, right, over a Michelle Obama. Because at least you know there's going to be some conversations on the Rogan podcast that might not necessarily be politically correct, that might engage some critical thinking. But you think if you have a Michelle Obama here doing a podcast, interviewing somebody, there's going to be any critical thinking? No. It's going to be surface level bullshit conversation that's politically correct with almost no swears, no authenticity, and it's going to be boring. And this is exactly why the Democrats lost in the 2024 election. It wasn't real. Kamala Harris didn't start doing interviews until too fucking late. Everything was scripted, structured, and put in a way where she would not look bad. But that's precisely why she lost. Because she wasn't authentic. She didn't do off-the-cuff interviews like Donald Trump did. Despite the fact that Donald Trump isn't the best communicator, he's crass, and he might be rude or disrespectful, the public loves authenticity. So when you're going ahead and getting these softball interviews on major TV networks, and you're getting people like Eminem, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Robert De Niro, Bon Jovi, you're literally getting every A-list endorsement from athletes like LeBron James, all the way to fucking Taylor Swift, all the way back to people from the fucking like 70s like Bon Jovi, but you still lose the election. That tells you a lot. It tells you that A-list celebrities and traditional establishment entertainment industries no longer hold the same weight that they used to. Eminem in 2025 isn't the same Eminem in 2005. Going up and doing a concert and saying, fuck Trump in 2025 is not going to have the same level of cool as it did back saying, fuck Bush in 2005. The people that we thought were based were actually liberals the whole time, pussies. People thought Eminem was based, but he's not. And the reason why is because you never get to know these individuals. You might listen to the Eminem show, you might listen to Slam Shit LP, and you're like, wow, this is great music. But Eminem does very few interviews, as many A-list celebrities do very few interviews. So you don't really know these motherfuckers. But you know who you do know. You know someone like a Rogan. You've listened to his podcast. You know about his personal life. You might like Aiden Ross. Watch him and laugh as he does the things that he does. Right? You might watch me and you're like, yo, this guy's way more down to earth. I like watching this guy over somebody else. But the point is this, influencers are able to be a lot more authentic because they're not beholden to establishment type industry, entertainment establishment industry type shit. They don't have to worry about a record label. They don't have to worry about a TV network. They don't have to worry about cable news saying, I don't know if you could talk about that. Why do you think Tucker Carlson blew up when he left fucking Fox? Because he was able to be independent and say what the fuck he really wanted to say. And Americans love that. Tucker Carlson exploded when he left Fox. Candace Owens exploded when she left Daily Wire. Why? Because authenticity is always respected, regardless if your views are offensive or not. That is why I refuse. I fucking refuse to not tell you guys the truth, even if it might make me look crazy, like my stance on immigration or my views on the black community. None of this benefits me to tell y'all. I've lost so many fucking supporters for being critical of the black community. I've lost so many fucking supporters for being critical about who really runs this fucking country. Lost millions of dollars for this shit. But that's a rare trait. People want that. And it's so hard to find in the entertainment industry. And you're more likely to find it with influencers and podcasters versus A-list celebs like Michelle Obama and these other musicians. You might spend 3 minutes listening to Cleaning Out My Closet by Eminem, but you'll spend 30 minutes of me listening to me talking about cleaning out my closet, my background. Who are you going to build a better bond with? Who are you going to trust more? The musician with some cool lyrics or the person that you're listening to on Spotify all day? I think it's the latter. And that is why Trump won in a fucking landslide victory over these losers. Because Democrats haven't figured it out. Being authentic is the key. But the problem is that their policies and the way they view the world can't allow them to be authentic, because when you're authentic, you're going to offend people. And their fear of offending people is precisely why they failed. Ones if you guys agree, twos if you guys don't. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But that's how I look at this. Why she's going to fail.